Yo.
What's going on, y'all? This is the Martymar Show, episode 5. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys had an awesome holiday and Happy New Year's. I made a little promo video for my supporters, just thanking everyone for all the support so far through all the episodes. I had some awesome guests, have an awesome guest today. It is going to be a dope show. So again, Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome back. So with the Martymar Show, this is the episode 5. Episode 5 is talking about fitness and faith. Obviously, the first part is talking about fitness. So I have a dope guest with me today. She's something like family. She's fit, y'all. She cock diesel. She's ready, y'all, to share with y'all. Because I know one of the biggest pieces with New Year's, right? It's pretty much talking about New Year's resolution to get fit. But see, here's part of the thing. We don't want to make this just a resolution where, okay, we do it for, a couple of weeks or a month, and then after that, we let it go. We actually wanted to make it where, we're doing this every day. Fitness is actually like a way of life, right? So we really want to do that. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce everybody to my guest, Kyla Somerville. Let's give it up for her. The crowd is going wild, y'all. The crowd is going wild. All right, Kyla. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good. It's Saturday, not too bad outside. Feeling blessed. Glad to be here.
I appreciate you for coming on to the show. Definitely, guys, you're going to learn a lot about her. So I really wanted to have you on because obviously, before I even start talking, let's get into let's meet you because you are my guest. Kyla, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, your background, so on and so forth.
All right. So where should I start? So my name is Kyla Somerville. I am currently 25 years old. And just to get it going, I would say fitness is something like my passion. Just that's like it's a part of me right now. So background wise, it all started just being, very active as a kid, played basketball, did track in high school, just always had a love for being active. And then fast forward to college, we go into my bachelor's in exercise science and wondering where I could take, this degree. What can I do with it? Like, there's so many options. So I go ahead and get personal training certified. And from there, it's just been growing, learning, researching, getting better, and just making fitness a lifestyle, like you said.
So let me ask you this question. Where did you go to school at?
So I went to the best school in the world, Rutgers University, right in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Literally 4 years there, in and out. But yeah, it was an awesome experience. Got to grow, got to learn who I was, and yeah.
Wow, and I definitely love Rutgers. I visited a couple of times. Beautiful campus. Obviously, we have other family members who graduated from there as well. So shout out to Rutgers for actually training you up. And I'm glad that you really expressed who you are. And it's interesting because you said that since you were younger, you've always had this passion for it. And I find that with anybody who has a passion to do something, it usually started from when they were younger, and it always stayed inside them to develop whatever this trait is. So in talking about that, what really made you get into fitness? Like, I know you said it was always a passion or maybe something that you did, but like, was there a moment or a sport or what really made you get into this?
That's a good question. So for me, my first love was basketball. And I truly was passionate about the sport. But once you get to college, as a woman especially, you kind of realize that the WNBA isn't really, a career. So I started doing my best to figure out how I could keep, this passion for movement going and this competitive nature inside of me going, even though I'm not going to be going pro in basketball. And then I think that's when I started to understand that fitness was amazing in that it's competing against yourself every single time you step foot into the gym. It's not competitive in a team sense, not competitive in a person versus person sense, But it's competitive in that every single time I go in for a session, I get ready. I walk out the door. I'm excited to step closer to another goal. I'm excited to compete against the strength I had the day before, the speed I had the day before, the power I had the day before. And I think, yeah, so it turned into finding that next level of competition that I could sustain for the rest of my life.
Wow, that's I'm glad that you really shared that. And let me ask you this question: did you play ball in college?
So I didn't play for Rutgers, their team, but they had club teams, which winds up being like an AAU style where you travel to other colleges. So I did that for all 4 years, and it was pretty fun. Just keep the love alive. But like I said, that's not something that you can really sustain into adulthood. So it was always like, how can I like bridge this to something else?
And I like that you really talked about that. You realize that the WNBA is not necessarily for everybody, but you still wanted to have your passion because obviously with me being a guy, the biggest thing is like the league or bust, NBA, NFL, MLB, so on and so forth. But that's not the end of the world. That doesn't make you less of a person, or you failed in life if you don't reach to the top of maybe necessarily that pinnacle of whatever sport. So I'm glad that you pointed that out, because a lot of people, again, especially in your age bracket, feel like that's it if I didn't do it. So I'm glad to hear that. So my next question for you is, is it hard to maintain being fit? I know that's, and before you answer that question, I kind of got the answer to that, but we still need a professional to really explain on it, because a lot of people think it's just, I got to be bench pressing 500 and all that. So tell us a little bit about that. Is it really hard to maintain being fit?
So I think over the years now, I've been certified for 5 years now. And my first year being certified, this answer would have sounded a little different. But I would say just having experienced a lot of different clients, a lot of different ways that people understand fitness, my answer is a little bit, more clear now. And how I would say it is, fitness means something different to every person. So what for me may be, lifting weights every day and training like heavy, like you said, or bench pressing or squatting.
Right.
For someone like my mom, for example, fitness to her could just be making sure she takes a walk 3 times a week.
Mm.
And that winds up being sustainable for her and her lifestyle. So when it comes to sustainability and making it a lifestyle option, I believe it has to be whatever can be sustained based on you and your goals. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong. You don't have to see what I'm doing on Instagram or what, your favorite person influence is doing and think you have to do that to be valid. Fitness is literally like the movement that, keeps you going, that you can sustain over time.
Wow. So, and I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's stressful for a lot of people. Like you said, it's more so what can you maintain doing, not necessarily the amount of weight or the things that you were doing. So, talk a little bit about your certification. I know you mentioned being certified. Like, what does that exactly mean? Because I know a lot of people say I'm certified in this and that, but in regards to your profession, like how does that benefit you, and how can people understand what that is?
Got it. So there are a number of accredited companies that certify personal trainers in the United States. I don't know every single one off the top of my head, but the one I have is ACE. So it's the American Council of Exercise.
Okay.
And to be certified, you actually have to go through a pretty rigorous process of studying. I had to buy a textbook. It goes through all the branches of starting with anatomy, then it gets into physiology, then it goes into exercise physiology, and then you get in-depth understanding of, client prescription, and you understand, how to prescribe exercise to different populations of people. So I would say without that, yeah, you can train people, but it's about, having that backing by this accredited union saying that I took the time to study, I took the time to understand, and then passing that exam as well. So that's what it was for me. And then that's actually not my only certification. That's the main one. But I like to keep growing, keep learning. So I have a few other just like smaller ones where it's just, hey, I want to learn about pre and postnatal care. Like I have that certification. Or I want to specialize in like this other area. So let me get a TRX certification. So I like understand this piece of equipment well. So just always growing, always growing.
Hey, let's keep it going. What else the certification? I think this is important to know, especially for people like myself who are not necessarily in the fitness realm. I did not realize there was a prenatal and a postnatal, and for our people who don't know, that's talking about women who are pregnant before and after. But like, do you have anything else like certifications? Like that's interesting.
Yeah, so I have this Exos performance specialist certification. So if you look into a lot of my training now, it's more functional performance based training. And that gives you more of a bridge between general, squat, bench press, deadlift, where it's like you're training for strength and power to now getting into training for athletics and performance. So I have a certification in that. And then I actually have a Zumba certification, the
Oh
dance.
snap! Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely have a Zumba certification. I have never used it, but I have it. And yeah, like I said, it was just like, let me go get the certification. I want to learn about it. I want to be able to say if I need to, I could teach a Zumba class. Like,
Yo, people love Zumba, and my for my guys who support my show, don't front. I seen y'all. Some of y'all, I ain't gonna call nobody out from college. I went to Delaware State. I remember seeing some guys in a Zumba class. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just keeping active. So Zumba is dope. I like Zumba. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. That's
right,
just me.
right.
So in talking about that, wow, you have so many certifications. That's awesome, and I'm glad to hear that because a lot of people in this day and age call themselves to do specific things and don't have the backing or the certifications. So it's awesome that you're heading in that direction because that's important, especially if something was to happen. You can say, "Hey, I'm certified to do this. I can really train you up in whatever area that you need." So that's awesome. So one of the next things I want to ask you is how often or what workout should people really be doing? Like how do I, let's say if I don't have a trainer, how do I go about figuring out which workout that I should do?
That's a good question. I think the tough thing about it is every person's answer is going to be different. There's not going to be any cookie cutter. I could say on this podcast, like, hey, if you're listening to this, I need you to go to the gym 3 days a week, do X, Y, and Z, and it's going to get you to your goal.
So no keto diet and all that other stuff. It just depends. It's break it down for us.
Yeah, you genuinely, like, biologically, let's take it there. I am a one of one. You are a one of one. And all of the listeners on here are one of one. Our bodies don't move like anyone else's. Our system doesn't work like anyone else's. Even nutrition wise, we can't handle things that other people may be able to handle and break down.
Right.
So when it comes to prescribing exercise, the first thing I do is a 30-minute consult and an in-person evaluation because I need to understand where you are currently to be able to get you to your goal. There's like, that's really the best way to go about it, I would say.
So you really have to sit down and evaluate, like you said. It's not like a one size fits all, or because I'm related to you, we could do the same thing. I honestly, I never knew that. What I've seen is, like I said, do this diet, it should work. Just do this workout, do that. But what you're saying pretty much shifts the mindset that no, it's literally tailored towards each individual. So, how do you like? I know there's an evaluation process, but what does that look like when you work with your clients? Like, what does that look like?
That's good. So someone would reach out to me for personal training, and the first thing I would do is carve out a 30-minute phone call so I could just talk to them. And in that phone call, I need to understand what your daily lifestyle habits are like. I need to understand what you do for a living, how much you're sleeping, when and how often are you eating, how are your movement patterns? Are you currently working out? Do you have any experience with the gym? Are you sedentary right now? And then from there, it even goes even deeper. Do you have any injuries? Have you ever been injured? Do you have any pain when you walk, when you go upstairs? Do your knees ever bother you?
Hmm.
And then as well as a deep dive into their nutrition as well. So it's literally getting a full picture of their health so I can take a step back and say, okay, you may need to go into a caloric deficit where you're eating less than you're eating now. But whereas someone who's trying to gain weight and they're burning a lot of calories, oh, you may need to go in a surplus, eat a little bit more, and do a different style of training. So that initial 30-minute evaluation is gold because you really want to try to get as much information as you can about how they're living. Yeah.
Wow. So it sounds almost similar to like, going to like, your general practice doctor, and, maybe doing a checkup. Like I literally need to know step by step, what are the things that you've done so I can really evaluate you. Guys, this is valuable information, all new to me. So I'm glad to hear that. We definitely gonna probably have to set up, evaluation because, I've been working out, but hearing what you're saying now, there's some things I need to tighten up on and get an evaluation on. So then talking about really trying to be fit, right? What food should we really eat? Because I find that, like I said, I've already mentioned this, obviously, specific diets that they offer. Obviously, I'm not a huge person, so I don't really need to do that. But I know there's certain foods maybe that have protein and, do this shakes work or that shake? Like, what are the foods that a person that does not know, what should they eat?
That's good too. So almost similarly with it depends on, your goals. But I would say as far as when you're getting into strength training and exercising and like trying to build your muscles, the most important thing is going to be protein. And everyone hears that, and I think that is something that can be universal because when you're working out or even if you're running or whatever exercise you're doing, you're breaking down your muscle tissue, and protein is going to be that key macronutrient you need in order to rebuild those protein stores. So even if you're vegan or vegetarian, or even if you're like trying to lose weight or gain weight, when you're getting into strength training and working out, I would say an emphasis needs to be placed on how much protein you're intaking for sure. Yeah.
Is there any food like because I think a part of the other thing is too, people think that being fit is expensive, and I think as I've gotten into it, I found that obviously we have our fruit farmers markets where you can get fruits and vegetables. There's also protein supplements you can buy, or like protein shakes where you put the stuff in there. So what are some inexpensive maybe foods that people can buy, or what are some like easy ways they can consume protein?
That's good. I mean, bodybuilder 101 is like chicken breast. Like,
Okay.
you can find chicken breast for fairly cheap at your local grocery store. Um, then another staple for me is ground turkey. You
Love
always
that.
want to stay with like the light, leaner meats. So you got chicken, you got ground turkey, and you could even go a different style of chicken. It doesn't have to be breast. Chicken is solid. And then I eat a lot of shrimp.
Okay.
Shrimp is a good one. If you could get your hands on a bag of shrimp and you can just like, have it in the freezer, prep that out when you need it. Everyone always says salmon is good. That's high in healthy fats.
Love salmon.
That's high in protein. That's a good one. And pretty much from there, like I'll do like turkey bacon here and there and egg whites. But those are my staples right there. Like,
So I didn't hear you say steak, which was interesting. Why didn't you say steak? What's up with that? I love steak.
I think I think you can say steak is a high source of protein, but as far as the way red meat digests in our body, I got to a point where I could like physically feel the difference between it. Like if you eat a lot of like lean white meats and then you go have like a steak, you'll feel it sitting in your stomach because like our enzymes tend to digest red meat a little bit slower. So you can definitely put steak on that list. But I would say for your more often day to days, stick with the first list and then throw steak in, here and there, like once a week, once every 2 weeks, just as an enjoyable piece.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I definitely try to, when I was obviously when we're younger, we eat like, we're gonna live forever. But as you start to get older, I agree. Like I started to cut back steak maybe, and what I do is I do like the cube steaks that are already chopped up, and so that way I can portion it out better versus just having me a huge slab like I'm on the Flintstones or something.
I'm
Like
telling
you said, you definitely feel full. Even with the cube steaks, I feel different. So I
you.
agree with you on that. So if we're really talking about training, let me ask you this question now. And I'm gonna be real. Some people, let's be real, can be very cheap, but is it better for a person? Let me ask you this: is it better for a person to develop their own workouts, or should they really get a trainer, or it could be either process? Because we know, let's be honest, we know either process is not necessarily wrong, and we know obviously getting a trainer would be better. But should they really consider maybe a trainer? Why not? Like, what are your thoughts?
I like this one. So I'm gonna try to do this completely unbiased because
Please.
obviously that's a source of income for me. But no. So the way I look at it is it depends on how you learn. So if you're someone that will go into trying to understand fitness and you have the patience to, let's say, go research the shoulder press, this one movement, and you don't just go in the gym, pick up weights and do it, you take a second to research the proper form, the breathing techniques, and you're in the gym in the mirror caring more about the form of that movement then you care about, let's say, like lifting the most amount of weight or like, being judged if you don't pick up heavy weight. Now, if you have that capability, you very well can go without a trainer because that means you have the patience to take time, learn, and understand the movements for yourself to build your own regimen. But we know this world is so fast paced and fitness can become competitive as well. So I think going into a gym, even like for someone like me, it takes a lot to be able to see somebody squatting heavier than you and understand that, if my form can't keep me there, I can't squat that heavy today. So a lot of times people do need a trainer to step in and say, hey, let me break this down for you from step one so that even though you're not going to be, the heaviest lifting person right now, we're building that strong foundation. So when you're ready to get there, you have the proper tools and you can confidently go in there with good form. Yeah.
Wow. And that's wow. And it really makes me think about that, because as a guy, it's like, yo, I gotta go in. You're not benching 225. What's up with you? But I get what you're saying. Like you really have to build your foundation up, as you already said. And that process could look like, bro, you only lifting 10 pounds with the dumbbells and you're building up. And like you said, the form is not necessarily I'm just hurry up and throwing it up, but I'm like fully releasing my arm up and down to get the full movement because and just to get clarification for this, when I do the full form, that's how I'm really building my muscle. Because if I'm shortening myself, right now, I'm not acting like I'm a trainer, but if I'm shortening myself or not doing the movement full out, then I may be only working one little piece of my muscle, right?
Exactly. And another thing I would say is if you go into the gym and you do something, right? I'm never the type to judge someone because like I said, you got there and you're moving and you're trying. And movement to a certain extent is better than doing nothing. But when it comes to form and having a trainer, it's like, how am I going to be the most efficient at fitness? So, like, you can go in there and swing those weights, and you will probably see gains to a certain extent because you're going from zero to that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you want to be getting the most like bang for your buck out of a 1 hour session in the gym, you really want to be taking form into consideration. Like, or else you're kind of wasting your time a little bit.
I agree with you. It's kind of like working hard only to leave and have really no true results. Like,
Yeah.
I want those abs, looking like Hercules type of thing.
Carved out.
So this is the time of the show where we do our LOL, laugh out loud of the moment, where our guests really get to share something funny into their something that they did maybe funny or something they saw in their profession. So Kyla, can you kind of share what's your laugh out loud moment that you maybe had in your field?
Oh, this is hard. I'm trying to think now. Like, I don't know. I think like there's always the fails of like trying to like lift something that you can't lift. But so for me, I'm not very tall. I'm pretty small. And I think it was one day I'm in the gym and it's pretty crowded. Like, it's pretty crowded. Yeah. So I'm looking at the pull-up rack and it's pretty high. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna jump up there, I'm gonna do some pull-ups. And it's like a run jump situation. So I'm like, all right, like
hold on. We got what you mean? I gotta literally run up and to try to like, pull up.
So the average person, if you're tall, you could probably just hop up there. But for me, I was like, all right, I might have to take this running start and try to get up there for these pull-ups. And it was like everyone was watching me. I was nervous, jump up, and you just completely miss. You're just like, oh, like that jump grab air. Like, oh, like, yo.
So you running in the gym, it's crowded, and I know like when I used to go to Planet Fitness, I know like they say it's a no judgment zone. However, everybody's watching you. So you in the gym, you running, you try to reach it, you literally miss the whole bar.
Yeah, I'm talking like, I'm in this area and I'm like, all right, game face on. I'm about to hit these pull-ups. Like, and you go for it. And it's just like, oh man, turn around like, all right.
So did you fall like flat on your face or like?
Nah, you run and you feel like you're about to grab and you just don't even catch on. Like,
Did
yeah.
anybody say anything to you or be like, "Well, you alright?" or like?
Nah, it's just like you look around with that feeling inside of you, like, oh, like,
Almost had it.
exactly.
Wow, that's hilarious. Thank you for sharing that because I know it can be, like I said, just something to lighten people up because we want people to understand that though, it takes time to build up to be whoever you are in your profession, but we all got jokes. We all have our moments. So we thank you for sharing that. So one of the last questions I wanted to ask you is just that share with the people what does it look like how do I want to phrase this? What does it look like if a client wants to work with you? Like, how does that look like? Like, tell us a little bit about your experience in that.
If a client wants to work with me,
Yes.
so can you clarify a bit just what you mean?
Like, so let's say, okay, I'm gonna be real. You're a female. Let's say, the biggest thing for females is, I want to have my body right for the summer. So let's say I see your video, and y'all, her videos. We're gonna give her information out a little bit later. The girls jumping on boxes and lifting weights, like she's a beast. But we'll get to that. But if I wanted to work with you, and I said, you know what, I want to be fit just like her, and I sign up with you, what does some training sessions look like?
Okay, that's good. So I tell people all the time, like the stuff I do is because at this point I've mastered the basics. And I say that so humbly because it takes a while to get there. But now I'm at the point where I use every session to challenge my physical limits and test my strength in different ways now. But when you come to a session with me, to be completely honest with you, the first thing we do is learn how to do a body weight squat. We come in, we take a second, and we break down the mechanics of that very foundational movement. And we do it until you get it right. And then we break down the foundations of a push up. And then we break down the foundations of, a row for your back. And we're literally making sure that you're inhaling when you extend, you're exhaling when you pull the weight out, you're focusing on engaging your core and your form is perfectly right so that you're feeling this movement in the exact muscle that you should be feeling it in. So a lot of the first 2 weeks is, like I said, just carving out time to get those basic movements down and just getting comfortable with those.
So, and that's I think that's good for a lot of people to know because I think a lot of people can be intimidated with going with a trainer. Like we're going to immediately jump in. So I'm glad to hear you say that. And just to clarify, should all trainers, in your opinion, be doing that? Maybe taking that time to make sure that they're prepared, or should they kind of? It just depends on who the person is.
Yeah, and there are different training styles. I will say that for sure. But at the end of the day, I think being a good trainer means like making sure your clients have mastered the basics. And I think it's taking your time to really get that foundation down because if you like you're almost doing that client a disservice if you jump them too fast too quick. And I think that's my professional opinion. That is, yeah.
And you made me bring up. See, I'm trying to. You keep making me think of all these other questions, but they're good questions. So what should somebody be looking for in a trainer?
That's good. I think when you look for a good trainer, you wanna feel that they are confident. And that sounds like an interesting like first thing to look for, but it's true because if you go into a gym with a trainer and they can't, they're not comfortable with equipment. They're not comfortable with, movement and even like helping you get through these movements or you're doing something and they're just kind of letting you do it. They're not locking in on you and confidently telling you this is where you should feel something or this is exactly how this should look. Then something's probably off. You want to make sure that your trainer is confident and from your perspective, it should seem like they're knowledgeable as well. Yeah.
So you really, okay, I got you. Because I know when you said the confident piece, I'm like, confident in you or confident in themselves. But I got you. Like, you want somebody to, pretty much in a nutshell, you want to make sure they know what they're doing and they can really train you. So I'm glad that you clarified that. So that way, for everybody that's listening, you know, even if you don't work with Kyla, whatever trainer, if you decide to go with them, you really want to make sure, for one, that they know what they're doing. And as she already mentioned, they have some type of certification that's allowed them to understand why whatever they're telling you to do, that they know what they're doing. So as we close out, Kyla, is there any last things you want to share with the people? Let's share, you know, your schedule, your training schedule, or you're doing training virtual or not? Because we know everything virtual right now is a big thing. If not with gym, Instagram handles, so on, so forth. Just let's share a little bit about yourself.
Okay, cool. So right now, I've been working from home for my full-time job. I do exercise physiologist at a corporate fitness center, and I just been doing a lot on Instagram. So if you guys want to follow me, my Instagram handle is at fitfinesse, all one word, underscore Kai, KY. Definitely check me out on there. And then as far as my training schedule right now, I'm actually really excited to announce that I'm going to be releasing an online training program
Oh,
on Valentine's
exclusive,
Day.
exclusive.
Yeah, so on 2/14/21, I'm going to be releasing a 6-week functional training program that you can, buy. It's going to be a complete, comprehensive guide. You'll be able to have it, follow it. Exercise will be broken down. Form tips are on there, modifications are on there. And that just almost allows you where, if you're not in my immediate area, to get an opportunity to essentially train with me. So that's exciting.
Wow, it's very congratulations. I definitely want to, you know, support and buy a package, y'all. Please support. It's going to be a dope concept. You know, obviously, you know, to have those tools, even if you can't necessarily reach out to her. Just so you know, Kyla is in New Jersey. So if you don't live in Jersey, it might be hard. Then she's in North Jersey. So it might be a little bit hard. But however, we are virtual. So, you know, we can work things out. So any other social media handles? I know you on Instagram, you got Facebook, you know.
I've been trying to like laser focus on Instagram. Like I was never huge with social media, but the way I look at Instagram is almost like a job at this point. So catch me on there and pretty much catch me exclusively on there. So yeah.
Yeah, and guys, like I said, her social media handle, every day there's something going on with the jumping on. Like I said, the boxes are amazing. Some of the workouts I've never seen people do this stuff before. So to see you do it and the fluidity in which you do it, you could tell that it's becoming productive, y'all. She's flexing. She can put me in there a lot. So as we close out at this time, I'd like to definitely thank you for joining the Martymar show. You've been a dope guest. You've informed a lot of us on just basic workout 101, which most of us don't even know. And many people don't know I have my bachelor's in sports management. However, we take some of the exercise classes. And to be honest with you, either I wasn't paying attention or two, I just never have heard of these things. So I'm glad that you really enlightened us on some of the things that we could do moving forward. So as we close out, again, thank Kyla for being on the show for today. This is episode 5, the Martymar Show, Fitness and Faith. And again, it's going to be a dope conversation to work with her. So please, guys, if you want to get fitness and training, please reach out to her. Again, Martymar Show. Bless God, bless his people, and stay blessed.